Hulks at Sheerness. Hulks were sailing ships which towards the end of their lives were unable to go to sea and were used for many other purposes. They were used as receiving ships, a temporary berth for new naval recruits until they received a posting to a ship and to stop pressed men from fleeing. They were used as victualling depots, as guard ships, as powder hulks, as floating cranes and salvage pontoons. And, as at Sheerness, they were used as breakwaters, accommodation vessels and prison hulks. In 1776, all transportation of convicts to the North American colonies ceased. Quickly, the prisons in England reached bursting point. The solution to this was to use decommissioned Royal Naval vessels as prison ships to house prisoners close to where they were needed to work. Half-starved prisoners would go ashore daily to work building Sheerness Dockyard. The first prison hulks to arrive at Sheerness were the Zealand, which housed 470 convicts, shortly followed by the Retribution, holding 450 convicts, although these numbers were often exceeded. Shackled in heavy chains, conditions below decks for the prisoners was abysmal, with 1 in 4 expected to die. Their diet was inadequate, and the prisoners suffered from malnutrition, scurvy, and hulk fever, a form of typhoid. The Bellerophon, renamed HMS Captivity, was perhaps the saddest of all the prison hulks at Sheerness. Her prisoners were children. Of the first 350 boys who went on board, none were older than 14. Raised in overcrowded London slums, most were malnourished and small for their age. Boy convicts, caned with the birch severely and often, were denied the relief a few hours of work on shore would provide and remained permanently on board ship until transported to the far side of the world. During the Napoleonic Wars, hulks housed prisoners of war in horrific conditions of neglect, filth, disease and starvation. It is estimated that over 12,000 Frenchmen died in British prison hulks. At Sheerness, hulks were also used as accommodation for dockyard workers and their families, with hundreds of children being born on them. When John Wesley visited Sheerness in 1767, he wrote that he found not a town, but 6 old men of war. These were split up into tenements, up to 60 to a ship, with little chimneys and windows, and each containing a family. In 1801, there were still 4 hulks at Sheerness, and were very much loved by the 186 families that lived in them. Sir Isaac Coffin, the commissioner of Sheerness Dockyard, evicted the hulk dwellers.